Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to KP. Annalise here. Abba was leading me to go ahead and share part 6 to the free will series that we've been embarking on. And so, leaving off from part 5, we were kind of just digging into Psalms 37:23, where it says, like, he orders your steps, and just putting more emphasis on, hey, Abba is in control. And when you allow him, the freedom to do so, there's a level of freedom for you that is unlocked, and where it's just like you don't have to worry about all the things that we worry about. um and you think that, as far as in ordering your steps, you think you're going to do XYZ, but you end up um maybe doing something else, or even in the things that you thought you were going to do, you get them done, but you don't realize how impactful that they are. And one of the examples that he gave me, being in First Kings, looking at Elijah and the widow. um Elijah was to be removed from Ahab, because it was Ahab and Jezebel. And so he was removed from Ahab, as far as in removed from the kingdom, and he went to this brook that he was basically staying at, like a body of water. And he was staying near this body of water, where of course he had water, and then there would be the ravens that would bring him basically meat and bread. And once that dried up, he was to go ahead and find this widow. And he went to go and find her. And him going to find her, he's finding her at this front gate. Now, mind you, when you read the story, it's literally like, this lady, she's in the front gate, and she's not necessarily like, oh, got a sign up. You know how you come off the airport? Thank you, Holy Spirit. He's showing me, like, when you come out the airport, or when you come from someplace and you're supposed to get a ride, and somebody has a poster board with your name on it. She won't stand in there with his name on a, what you call, talking about some Elijah the prophet, come to here. Like, no, that wasn't there. Like, when you read the story, she's in the front gate picking up sticks, because she's about to make a fire, to use the last bit of oil and grain that she has to make a cake. And she's about to use that last little bit to make their last cake, her and her son, so that they can go and die. That's what it says. And when he approaches her, that's exactly what she tells him. Hey, I'm just picking up the sticks to go ahead and make my last cake, so me and my son could die, because that's all I have. Elijah was told to go to this gate. And Elijah going to this gate and finding the widow, she's not thinking about Elijah. She don't know Elijah. You get me? Blink, blink, like, blink, like, you get me? Like, you think you can do these things, Nemo, but you can't. You think you can, you got all of this stuff ordered out. You think you are so in control. You think because you planned it out in your head, it's going to go this way. You think because you line this up and set this up with a schedule, it's just going to pan out with no hiccups, and everything's going to go smoothly, and everything's going to be there, and they're going to have everything that you need at the store, and they're going to be right on time, and they're going to do their job correctly, and they're going to make sure it's thoroughly done. Like, no. We want that to be the thing. We want that to be the case, but most of the time, majority of the time, it does not happen that way. Yes, you might have certain things that go smoothly, certain things, but there's a whole other side that's not going smoothly. Your steps are ordered. And because your steps are ordered, you think you're about to do XYZ. And that example right there, she thinks she's about to make her last cake, and she's up at the front gate gathering sticks so she can do so, not even thinking about Elijah. And Elijah, being told to go find this widow, finds her and literally is telling her, hey, I know that's your last cake for you and your son, but make that last cake for me. She moves in faith, makes that last cake for him, and then they have food until the rain comes. I don't know how that looked, if the grain and the oil just filled up, or maybe every time she went in there and it looked like it was only a little bit, she scooped in, and maybe she had to have faith every time to scoop in, and every time she scooped, like, look, grain appeared. Grain was there. Go read that story. It's in First Kings. Um But then Abba had me in, hold on, he had me flip back to Philippians. It's just wrapping that up. Like, you look, you are not in control. Your steps are ordered, man. Your steps are ordered, whether you acknowledge Abba or not. Your steps are ordered. He's such a big God. He's such a big God. He's not like oh, he's like a king where it's like he doesn't know about what you're doing and doesn't know who you are, like, and will oh, they're just making laws and telling you to do XYZ. No, he's bigger than that. He's so much bigger than that. He's God. He's the most high God. And so he led me to Philippians 2 and 13, and that was for it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. He gives you the will and the desire to do what pleases him. God works that in you. And because God is working that in you, there's a level of him having such power and such control, and we think it's just, we think we're so in control. It just continues to back that up, that hey, he's in control and we are not. And just kind of wrapping that up just to the point, like, hey, God created everything. He owns everything. I'm looking at my notes, and has power over everything. And it's not manipulation. It's not this space of manipulating the situation. You got to come up higher. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. You have to know God's character. You have to know God's heart. And the only time you get to understand that is when you spend time with him by just talking to him about everything. Abba, I didn't like this. Abba, I don't know what that is. Abba, can you help me with this? Abba, I have this issue and I don't really know what to do about it. When you're talking to him and you're letting him know these things, there's an intimacy that is built, and you get to know his character, you get to know his heart. And as you begin to understand that, you begin to understand what it is. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He's reminding me that it, again, it's not manipulation. It's this space of like, hey, um, I have something that is so good for you. I have planned out something that is so for you and that is so good for you, but I cannot let you sabotage it. The person that you are right now can't handle it. The person that you are cannot carry the mantle that I have provided for you. In that mantle that has been provided for you, there's a level of training that that mantle is called for. That mantle requires a particular training. You have to go through this process in order to get that training so that you're able to carry that mantle. If you're not able to excuse me, if you do not go through that training, you will not be able to carry that mantle. It will be too heavy and it will crush you. He is a good father. It's like, hey, um one of the examples that I've heard is like, I'm because I want you to have these things, and because I have something good for you, I'm gonna get you this car, but you're 3 years old. 3-year old can't drive a car. You have to wait some time, and not only waiting some time, um um you have to practice as far as in learning how to drive. Another example he's bringing to my attention is Jesus. Jesus, how he went to the synagogue, and his mom was looking for him, remember? And he was like, I'm about my father's work. And as I heard it, it was like he had a choice at that moment, because it was the way that his parents were looking for him, and what you call it, and him being in submission to the will of God, as far as in what God had for him, as far as in his mantle, because his cup was potent, taking on all of the sin of all of the world so that it's paid for. Like, all the sin you've done, all the sin you're doing, and all the sin you will ever do is paid for. To take on that, look, we're not even gonna, because that's a whole another sermon we could preach. Anywho, um I heard it that way, is like he had a choice to submit to his mother and father, as far as an honor thy mother and father, or go ahead and do his father's work as far as in God's work. And it's like, um the way that I heard it kind of wrapped up was just like, hey, he had a choice at that moment. And being that he's Jesus, he's God, like, okay, he could have just, what you call, but going to the cross is a bit much for a 12-year-old. So he decided, in the space of submitting, in the space of waiting longer. He didn't get to that point until he was 33 years old. In that space, um, as I heard it, it's just a bit much for a 12-year-old to go to the cross. Um, with that being said, Abba giving the will and the desire to do what pleases him, and wrapping that up like, hey, he orders your steps, he orders your words, and he created everything, he owns everything, he has power over everything. And again, it's not manipulation in the space of, hey, I'm gonna just do this, or I'm gonna just do that, I'm gonna make you do this, I'm gonna make you do. No, there's a purpose and there's a process to that. And in the process of even Jesus, how he's growing up in a space of like, okay, learning more, cultivating more. And it's like, this is Jesus. He can't necessarily learn anything else, but it's a space of the experience, as well as setting the tone and setting the example. Um, and it's just, it's not manipulation. You have to know God's heart in the space of him, um, owning everything, creating everything, having power over everything. It's a level of, what I have for you is so good that you have to go through this training in order to carry that mantle, because otherwise it will crush you. It will crush you. Um, because you won't know how to handle it. You won't know how to steward it, especially because we were born and shaped in iniquity. We were born and shaped in sin, and there's a level of, how do you say, dysfunction and drama and toxicity and ignorance that we have. Thank you, Holy Spirit. A prime example is finances. We spend willy-nilly. Um, you know, I come from a family that are shoppers. When I say shoppers, shoppers, shopaholic, shoppers. The movie Shopaholic. Look, shoppers. And so, even with that example, you know, if he were to give you $1 million, you would squander it. If he were to give you that baby right now, you wouldn't treasure it. If he were to give you that marriage right now, you will mishandle their heart, because you don't know how to allow Holy Spirit to be your interpreter. You'll be a woman that's plucking down her house with her hands in her mouth, or a man not shielding and protecting the woman and loving the wife as Christ loves the church. You will squander it, you will mishandle it, you will missteward it. All of the things that you're wanting, all of the things that you're asking for, there's a mantle that is called for you, there's a mantle that is orchestrated for you, and there's a level of training that goes on with that. And so these things have to be set in motion, these things have to be put in place. When he gives you that will and desire, when he puts things in you, when he speaks things over you, it's too good for you to mess up, and it's too good for you to pass up in the space that he ordained it and orchestrated it for you. And because he ordained it and orchestrated it for you, there's a level of, how do you say, help me, Holy Spirit, because he orchestrated it for you, he has to train you up in order to be able to carry it. And we aren't going to make the right choice. How it says In a man's eyes, his ways are right. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You think what you're doing is right. You think what you can do is right. You think how you're going about it is right. But when we do things by ourselves, when we do things by other people, when we do things trying to just piece things together, we're doing it without Abba. And when we do it without Abba, we have no power. When we try to do it with Abba, but we're trying to push our own agenda, it's kind of like, how do you say, all I can see is like doohickeys and clocks and whatnot. And Abba being the one that made it and created it. But there's a plan that you have for it, and something got broken, and the way that you're trying to fix it and you're trying to make it beam light or do whatever you're trying to make it do. And your plan, that's your plan. Whatever you're trying to make it do is your plan. But Abba being the creator of this whole clock, it's like you're not asking him how does it work. You're not asking him how does this go here, how does this go together. You're not asking him how do I fix this. You're trying to just do it on your own. You're trying to just fix it on your own. You're trying to have your own plan. In the space of you trying to have your own plan, some of us do that too, where we have our own plan and we think, okay, Abba, this is my plan, run with me. Like he's supposed to follow us. No, you follow him. Even Jesus did so in the Garden of Gethsemane before he went on the cross. I don't want to do this, but nevertheless, not my will, thine be done. What God wanted to do, what God orchestrated for him to do. Like, it's not about what we want to do and how we want to do it. And in that space of it, him being in control, we think we understand, and we're not even asking, okay, how does it work? I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it's like Hugo or something. He lives in like a clock tower. But yeah, instead of us sitting here asking how this works or asking how to fix it, we're over here messing stuff up because we didn't put this doohickey over here when it was supposed to go somewhere else. We didn't latch this onto that when that was supposed to not even be latched in the first place. We're making a mess of things by doing the things that we think we want to do with our plan, whether that looks like, hey, I'm gonna graduate, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna have this job and I'm gonna get this house, I'm gonna get this car. That's the plan that you be sitting here orchestrating for your life. And that's the put this doohickey here, put that doohickey over here, and it don't even go there. But you're not asking Abba, the creator, okay, how does the clock work? Where does this go? Where does that go? How do I steward this well? How do I oil this well so that it could run well? That training that you go through of trying to figure out, okay, how does this work? And him training you on how it works, that is the process. And then you get to a point where now you're working it, and you're working it to a point where now it begins to produce for you. It begins to be something that you're able to how do you say, enjoy the fruits of your labor from. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so hold on. So and then he was just elaborating on that. Like we like to be comfortable. We think that peace means nothing's going on, nothing's happening, everything's running smoothly, everything's running perfectly, there's no hiccups. That's what we think peace is, and it's not. Peace is especially true peace, as far as in the fruit, one of the fruits of the spirit, peace, the peace of God is when you can walk in a level of inner peace. So the what he's bringing to my attention is Demon Slayer. If you watch Demon Slayer, the Tanjiro, the main character, he's fighting this demon, and he basically gets him, like, he offs him. But there's a way that the demon is able to enter inside of um Tanjiro, and what he sees is that reflective pool. You've seen those, like in the little nature shows and whatnot. There's a reflective pool where it's like people are able to walk on it, drive on it, or whatever. But you see the blue sky and the clouds, and then the water. There's a thin layer of water on top but it's so still that it literally reflects the clouds and the sky. And so it's that reflective pool. And when he emerges inside of Tandro, he's like, whoa. And it's so peaceful that it literally makes the demon cry. It makes him cry. And so um that's the level of peace that surpasses understanding, that is in it within you, even when on the outside of you you got this blowing up, the dryer done came off, the dryer done broke down, the refrigerator light bulb is out, the oven stopped working, you got a flat tire, just the random things that be happening in life, even the more crucial things like, hey, my baby's sick, or hey, my husband is off with a counterfeit, or me and my spouse just had an argument or a fight, and I don't know if we're going to get back together. All of those things that just make you feel like you're in this landmine place. The peace that surpasses all understanding is that inner peace about it, knowing who you are, and who's in control. When you understand that, there's a level of peace of like, look, you don't gotta worry about it. You don't gotta worry about it. And the way I hear it, like, worrying is worshiping the problem. We got to sit here and start telling our problems how big our God is. I have a very big God. With that being said, it's just that space of like, you not you not being privy to or understanding what is even in store for you. Like I said, you're going for that plate of mac and cheese, but he has entree after entree after entree, course after course after course, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with dessert. Like, he has all of that for you, and you just going for the plate of mac and cheese. Like, you don't realize how good, and I have plans to grow you and prosper you and not to harm you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There's so much in that, and we don't understand that. And it's like, you're not going to choose it for yourself because we're so used to being comfortable. We're so used to being in control. We're so used to just having things our way. And like, he knows you won't choose that for yourself. So there's a level of like sewing those instructions in, orchestrating your steps, ordering your words. Like, there's a level of that. And again, it's not manipulation. You have to come up higher. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. There's a level of like, hey, I'm going to prep you and prepare you for something that I've created for you, that is going to be more than you can ever think or imagine. You may think, hey, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I wanted to do this, that, and no, but all along you were best at gardening and taking care of lawns. You might have been somebody who wanted to be this pop star, but all along you were best at running businesses. You might have wanted to be this music artist, but all along you were best at selling homes and staging them. You might have wanted to be this person who explored and traveled the world doing travel vlogs, but you were best at taking care of the kids, and you know being it the best teacher in that school. You know what I'm saying? That there's a level of the way that we think things are best for us, not understanding that Abba, being our father, knows what is best for us because he created us. Your talents, your all of that comes from him. All of it. And so when it comes down to free will, free will has set consequences. And the way that it was broken down to me, we probably went over this before, is the you have shirts and you have all the colors of the rainbow. And what free will is that you get the choice to choose between the pink shirt and the green shirt. You might want the blue shirt, you might want the yellow shirt, you might want the orange shirt, but you don't have that choice. You have the choice between the pink or the green. With that being said, free will already has a set amount of consequences, meaning if you go down this way, this is what you're going to get. If you pick the pink shirt, this is what you're going to get. If you pick the green shirt, this is what you're going to get. And he led me to Proverbs 18 and 21. Hold on one second. Let me grab that. I saw you. I saw you. I saw you. Hold on. Okay. This is Proverbs 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So, so that's where it was putting emphasis on the path. There's a path to choose. There's good and life in the power of the tongue. So you can choose to speak life, or you can choose to speak death and evil, because good and evil, life and death, are in the power of the tongue. There's two choices there. You can speak death and speak evil, or you can speak life and you can speak good. You can't necessarily speak both, especially speaking both at the same time. Um, Another is basically you choose. Another example he gave was Proverbs 14 and verse 12. And this is the one that I was just talking about, as far as in, okay, it says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So that's just basically how we think we're right about something, how we think we know everything. Like you've never lived life before. Not only have you never lived life before, you are just born, and then you grow up and you learn what is around you. You have no idea how it works. You have no idea how it was created. You have no idea how it was made. Even when it comes down to you studying science and all of that stuff, science is literally just a study of stuff that's already there. You have no idea how it got there, but the Bible tells you how it got there. God created the heavens and the earth. It tells you, but you have no idea how he created that stuff. You have no idea how he created it. None whatsoever. You have no idea how he created life and how that's supposed to work. In the space of like, hey, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. Yes, it's a space of, hey, he created you out of the sand, and you are supposed to be an adversary to his enemies, a reflection of God, and you were supposed to be that space where you walk with God. However, aside from that, there's still all these other things in the space of, you don't know how this is supposed to go. You don't know how it's supposed to work. Hence, all of the stuff that's in this Bible that's telling you, especially Proverbs. Proverbs is a good one. Just telling you like how to deal with people, how to manage this, how to manage that. The Bible speaks about all of this stuff, and we just gotta be able to how do you say, be humble enough to come to God to ask Him, hey, how does this clock work? Um, And then he led me to Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. So let me jump there. Hold on. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19, where it says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. There's death and life before you. There's two paths, death and life. He's giving you the answer. Choose life. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your seed, so you and your bloodline, you and your generation, may live. You don't necessarily die instantly. Now, God has his ways, but you don't necessarily die instantly. It's the space of the path that you continue to walk on. As you go down it, it leads to death. It leads to death. There's that space of I've talked about this before, that the way to death, like that path to death, looks like Candyland. It looks like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. It looks like a whole festival that's going on. The path to life looks like looks like the dark forest, where you got butterflies eating carcasses and just strange things. You got swamp lands and quicksand that's dark as charcoal, trying to swallow you up. You got big old Venus flytraps, nipping at your heels and stuff like that. It looks dark, but it's actually Candyland. The Candyland is actually the dark forest. That's what's going to kill you. The place that looks like it's going to kill you is not. That's the life part. That's the part that is, things are not what they appear. Things are not what they seem. And so as you go down, as far as in going down that path, it's the space of choose life. You have the power to choose that. And in the space of the power to choose is not necessarily I can do whatever I want to do. It's just choose your hard. And the way that Abba was also like rearing that in. It's like an example is like gaining weight. Gaining weight is hard, but losing weight is hard. Choose your hard. You gain weight, you now deal with a lot of extra weight, um, extra baggage, sicknesses in the whole nine, and then that's hard. That's difficult to deal with. And then you have the flip side where um you have the flip side where you how you say you can lose weight, but that means being disciplined about getting up and getting your workout in, even if it may not be the same time every day, or it may not be 7 days a week. It's still being disciplined enough to get up and to get that workout in. But it's also being disciplined and mindful about what you're eating and how much you're eating. That's still difficult too. Choose your hard. Which one? That is what free will is. Choose your hard. It's not I can do whatever I want. No, because even in the space of I can do whatever I want, you're not necessarily doing whatever you want. You're actually slave to your desires. You're slave and you're bound to your impulses. Oh, I want to drink this, and then you get to a point where you think you could stop whenever you want, but then you get to a point where you don't know how to stop. Same thing when it goes to help me, Holy Spirit, where you're slave to your impulses. Okay, I'm angry. Let me lash out. That's what I can do what I want. I can say what I want. That's not free will. That's just you being slaved and bound to your desires. That's not freedom. Freedom is being submitted to a higher power, being in submission and being in subjection to a higher power, the most high God. And with that being said, it's a space of free will being a space of choose your heart. It has nothing to do with I could do whatever I want. No, it's choose your heart. Which one you want, life or death? You want to gain weight, you want to lose weight? Which one? Choose your heart. And so that as well. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He's reminding me is along with choose your heart, you can come up higher and be the bigger person, how they say, and keep your peace, keep your mental, or you could stoop low, come down up off your throne, come down up off your wall, Nehemiah, and come fight with the enemy. Choose your heart. Which one you want to do? Each one of them are hard. Each one of them yields a certain set of consequences. That's what I was talking about as far as in the free will. Each path has consequences. If you come down off your throne, you come down off your wall, you're now fighting with the enemy that's distracting you from what you are you're supposed to be doing, and got you all in your fields and got you all bent. And then on the flip side, if you come up higher, you stay on your wall, you stay on your throne. There's a level of difficulty with that by ignoring what is being done about there, especially when they got you twisted, especially when they got you messed up. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. You want to say something, but when you understand who you are, and who's in control, you understand vindication is mine, saith the Lord. Justice is mine, saith the Lord. Even with what they're saying out of their mouth, choose your heart. That is what free will is. It's choose your heart. It's not I can do whatever I want. No, it's choose your heart. So again, we had the 30-minute mark. Don't want to sit here and make this too long. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Remember that God is love, Jesus the way, the truth, and the life. And do the thing, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll be back with the next video when he leads me to share. Okay, bye.